Hi, my name is Eddie C, and welcome to my Positive Podcast. I'll bring you positive stories of people from all walks of life, because everyone has a story to tell. Welcome to my very first My Positive Podcast show. I'm so enthusiastic and glad to be able to share these stories of people from different parts of the world with you today. And I tell you what, there's so much going wrong, and this is the one show where you can get a lot of positive energy from. Welcome to my Positive Podcast. Well, let's welcome my first guest. He's originally from Gary, Indiana. We're old school buddies. We graduated from high school together, and he now lives in Atlanta, Georgia. He's an ex-police officer, does a lot of community service for his church, and he has his own radio station together with a couple of friends called JSFM. Please welcome Mr. Keith Foster.
Okay, let's see what I can do.
All right.
I'll set the stage.
Okay, man. So listen, Keith, can you tell me a little bit about what brought you to Atlanta to become a police officer after you came out of high school, and went to college?
Right. That's what happened. Here's what happened. I have a cousin named Stan. He was a freshman at Morehouse College here in Atlanta. I was a senior at Westside.
Right.
I was contemplating going to IU, Purdue, places up in the Midwest where I knew a lot of people were going. So he invited me to come visit him in April. Now, you and I both know back home in April, it's iffy. It could be nice. It could be chilly.
Right.
Brother, I got off that plane in Atlanta. It was like 75 degrees, and that was in the evening. The next day it was like 80-something. He took me across the street over to Spelman, and at that time it was Clark College. It's Clark Atlanta University now. Long story short, it was like a black Mecca down here. And I was saying, that's where I'm going to come to school down here. So that's how I wanted to come down here to attend Morehouse.
All right.
Yeah, and that's what it was, man. And what got me into law enforcement, to be perfectly honest with you, I had an uncle who was a police officer in Gary for a short while.
Right.
Another good friend that we used to hang out at his record store. I don't know if you remember Earwax. It was in.
I remember Earwax. Yeah, I remember that back in the day. Yeah.
David Hale, his dad and his mom owned a record store there, and Dave's father was a police officer. So long story short, the way that these gentlemen carried themselves kind of led me to want to do this. And how I decided I wanted to be in law enforcement. Atlanta just seemed to embrace me, brother. It was like the people were here were so kind. I just liked the Southern vibe and everything. And my way of giving back, because I'm by nature a coverer, basically. And I figured, why not join the police department and protect the village?
Oh, that's fantastic. That's beautiful, man.
That's basically how I did it, man. Yeah,
all
absolutely.
Right.
And I wanted to get involved in the community, and that's what got me in law enforcement.
All right. And is that something that sort of like it just came up all of a sudden, or was just basically you just sort of like grew in it? I just, like you said, I feel good with this just being, I just want to be a cop because I just want to, this was a calling.
I feel good about it, man. I always dug it because like I told you about my uncle and Dave's dad, and don't laugh at me with this one. I used to watch the show called Hill Street Blues. I don't know if you remember.
Hey, man, yes, I remember. Yes, sir.
Right. And a cat named Michael Warren, he played the black police officer on this. So I used to sit and watch this show, and I watched the way he interacted on the show and in the community and whatnot. I said, I could be that dude right there, for real. So that coupled with my uncle and watching this show and wanted to cover Atlanta, that's the inspiration. That was my inspiration, brother.
All right. Yeah, fantastic. Great. Yeah. Listen, that's great. And I know in high school, man, you were always people person, man. So that's, with the parties and all, you are, Keith is always there,
I try.
That's good. No, really, man, really, you were an asset to us as a classmate,
Yeah, well, I appreciate that, man. Feelings mutual, brother.
So let me ask you, I'm going to ask you another question, which is like, how can you briefly tell us about your internet station? Because I know you're a big jazz and soul fan, but the jazz is, I know that's where your heart lies to a large part.
Yeah.
So, you have your internet station, which is the JSFM.
Right. JFSM is short for Jazz Funk Soul Movement.
All right.
Right.
How did you come on that idea, and how did that all come together for you? Because it's actually growing to be pretty popular as an internet radio station now.
Yeah, and that's what we're thankful for that, man. We really appreciate people tuning in, and the notoriety is building, and it's worldwide. What I dig about internet, man, we get people from everywhere. At any given day, man, over half our listeners would be in other nations, other countries, not even in the U.S. So that's what's so cool about it. So we get to share the music worldwide. But to be perfectly honest, the way I got involved was there were two other officers I used to work with APD, right?
Right.
One guy, Ed, you might be familiar with Ed, and Kenyelu. And we all three of us were music lovers. In fact, when we got together on duty or off duty, we didn't talk police, we talked music all the time. So that was the thing. So it was anytime I saw what you up on, man, what you buying, who you listening to. That's how the conversation always started. Okay. So I retired.
Talking about really being on the beat.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I like that. Really being on the beat, brother. So Ed, I retired first. Okay. And Ed retired shortly after I did. Ed was the last one to retire, and Ed was one that brought us into the fold, to be honest with you. He said, hey, look, guys, when I retire, I want to start this internet radio station. I know you guys love music just like me. So I was wondering, would you guys be interested in coming on board? We're like, dude, seriously? Really? You didn't say nothing but a word. So Ed finally retired. He took him a 2-month vacation so he can jump into retirement. And long story short, we came on board. We had the name. Ed actually came up with the jazz funk soul movement. And the three of us have been doing it. And shortly afterwards, Pamela London, a young lady who was Kenyelu's a good friend of his, she's doing a little DJing on a private little station years back. So she joined the fold. So the four of us have just been trying to rock it, man, and make it happen.
But you all are located in Atlanta. Everybody's in Atlanta from the
yes. Everybody's living locally in Atlanta, right?
All right, okay, and it amazes me. I discovered there's so many people from Gary that, especially from our class, that ended up coming to Atlanta. So that must have been a new.
It was. You know what I call Atlanta? I call Atlanta Gary South.
Yeah,
that's what I call it. Gary South. It kind of thought, but yes, a lot of us down here, man. So it's and it's great in such a sense because we're able to stay connected. We have this little nucleus of a bunch of us. We used to have Gary parties. If not Gary parties, it's Gary gatherings. And we had this thing called Gary Guys Out, but we just maybe at a sports bar. Nothing, because I'm not out hanging out late anymore like I used to back then.
No, man. Those are different days, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. We may go to like a little sports bar or something and catch a game, and I'm back home in bed by midnight.
And nothing wrong with that, man. But it's good to see. It's good to see everybody, and give a little shout out to all the brothers out there that, you know, from here on the other side of the ocean. You know, I'm not there in body, but I'm there with you guys in spirit.
Absolutely, man. But you right here with some spirit, man. Sure, absolutely.
You know, it's really nice that you know, you're able to bring some music into the world and internationally. That's one of the things about modern day internet is that we're able to bring the world, you know, closer together in many ways. And this show is about positivity, and that's a real positive thing.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
I got one more question for you. And this is one which is based on our theme, right? Because our theme today is giving. And I'd like to know, what does giving mean for you?
For me, giving absolutely starts with receiving. And what I mean by that is I've received so much in my life in such a positive way from different people who have influenced me, from initially my parents. My dad was always an outgoing, giving person. And I've pretty much fallen in line with my dad. It's not so much what I heard him say as it was what I saw him do. And he was always making himself available to people. And I can remember like on Christmas mornings, we would have to go to his sister's house and visit everyone. And they had this thing about a man has to be the first one in the door in the New Year's Eve. So, I don't know what that superstition is.
The superstitions, you know, no women coming in the house in your house on New Year's Day.
Right.
I know how it goes. Yeah,
man. But the giving aspect of it is, it's just have to be something that's inherently in you. And when you give, it's my personal opinion is, if it doesn't come from the heart, that means there's a separate agenda for it. You get what I'm saying? If you're doing something to receive something on the back end, for me personally, I don't think that's how you should be giving. If it's something you need done, you need to see something happen, just go ahead and make it happen by making yourself available and going and talking to people.
Yeah. Right.
So that's
That's a beautiful, and you're doing a lot of. When I spoke to you earlier in one of our talks, you were mentioning about you're doing a lot for the church as far as food and because you're doing. Are you putting dinners and lunches together for? Is it for the homeless or needy? What
some
exactly is
homeless
that?
and some aren't, and particularly now with the pandemic and everything, a lot of people lost their jobs. And let me tell you how this came to be. I actually was taking a donation to the church for my mother-in-law.
Okay.
And ladies were coming out and getting other food out the trunks and loading it up and taking it back inside. And that particular day, I'm like, where the guys? These ladies coming out grabbing these big boxes. So I got out the parked car, got out and helped them. And now it's been over a year now that every Wednesday I just go back. That's what I do. That's my part of giving. And it's such a joy to see everyone coming in and giving to the church so that we can in turn give it back to the community, to the people who need it. Yeah, so that's how that came about, man. I just happened to be at the right place at the right time. I saw a need, and I've always been one about covering, and I definitely like covering women since I have a house of Esther, number my wife and daughter. So I think that comes naturally. I couldn't see the ladies though, so that's how I got involved with that.
Okay, so that's basically what your meaning of giving is. And listen, I want to, thank you so much for taking the time out to be on my show.
Oh, yeah.
And to share a little positivity out there to everybody in the world that listens to this podcast. And it's been a pleasure, man. I want to thank once again for the people out there. This was Keith Foster. He's an old alumni high school buddy of mine. Ex-police officer, retired police officer, and now he's got his music radio station, JSFM. So check it out. You might even hear me on one of the jingles.
Absolutely, and not just a jingle, some of your music.
Absolutely. All right, appreciate it very much. A lot of love to you, brother.
Much love to you, brother.
And a lot of positivity over there where you are, and keep spreading the joy, buddy.
I certainly will, man. You do the same. Much love to you, man. Love you, brother.
I love you too, bro.
This is My Positive Podcast with Eddie C.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next guest is Lisandra Chachon. She's a fitness expert and also a health expert. Hi, Lisa. Welcome to Lisandra. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Can you tell us a little bit about, how you got interested in fitness and when you started taking it very serious as a professional?
Yeah. I used to do ballet before.
Okay.
And then when I was from 16 years old.
Okay.
And then I stopped and I wanted to do something else. So when I was 16, I started working out with weights in a gym.
Okay.
And I saw my body was transforming.
And
I liked that very much. So I became very interested in knowing about the body and how someone's body can transform just by changing the way you eat and, let's say, training, working on yourself.
Okay. All right. Wow.
I started in the gym. So I started to get into fitness.
Did you still continue dancing as well in combination with that, or was that just...
No,
yeah?
Yeah, I stopped completely with dancing.
Okay.
And concentrated only on the fitness, but not professionally yet.
Okay.
Then I came to the Netherlands. I'm from Aruba.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. And then I came to the Netherlands to study.
Okay. And when was that? How long ago was that?
Since 1988.
Oh, okay. So you came to the Netherlands. So you've been actually in Holland for quite some time.
Yes, about 34 years I'm here.
Okay. Yeah, that's quite some time. All right.
It's too long. Right.
Well, yeah, and now in these days with Corona times, it's hard to travel anyway. So it's good that you're here helping a lot of people out, with the fitness and helping them with their healthy lifestyle,
Yeah.
I was getting back to your whole fitness thing. Is there a certain routine that you do yourself? Because I saw some of your pictures, and I mean, you really, You look fabulous. You really got everything well toned, and I see you got quite a few people following you as well. So that's is there a special routine you do yourself every day?
Um, yeah. To be honest, it becomes a lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really call it dieting. It's just I eat a lot of proteins because
Okay.
that was the proteins and fat. If I take too much carbohydrates, I would get fat.
Okay.
So, and that's
Yeah.
something that I do not want.
Yeah.
And
I
I think for everyone, it is good to know how your body reacts on certain type of food,
right. Right.
so that you can adjust for yourself what works for me, so that my body can always, so that I can always look good.
Yeah. Well,
That's what
that's
I do.
okay. Great. Yeah. I try to avoid the carbs as well, but I'm basically a vegetarian, so
Okay.
I I've been doing that for some
And
time.
I think you got to do what works for you.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. That's very important. You got to feel comfortable in your skin and with what you eat as well. That's very important.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I work out 5 days a week,
Mm-hmm.
and
Wow.
I train. Like the body has five muscle areas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Would you like to
Uh,
elaborate a little bit more on that?
so
Yeah.
like you have the chest, the arms, so bicep, triceps,
Mm-hmm.
the back, the legs, and the glutes,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
and the abdominals. So those are the most muscles that you train.
Okay. Okay.
So what I mean is, in those 5 days, I work out all of them in 5 days.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, I've saw some of your videos on your Facebook page that you posted, and I mean, you really take it with full heart, and that's nice to see. Um, you're also helping a lot of people with personal training. I see as well. Huh?
Yeah. I used to work in human resources before.
Okay, and
So
and
I
it,
was supposed to
what exactly did you do with in that branch?
human resources is like I used to give advice to um, let's say those high in the in the company
Okay, yeah, executives. Yeah.
with change in the organization.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. And
So that's
do you still do personal training as well for some of your people that you're working with, or is that
um, 6 years ago I decided to become a become
okay?
self-employed,
Okay, and
and to make my passion, which is the bodybuilding or working out,
mm-hmm,
my
mm-hmm.
job. So I changed from career
All right.
and studied for a personal trainer. And since then, I've been training and helping people to change their bodies.
Wow. That's amazing. That's great to follow your dreams. I know all about it because at one point in my life I did the same thing, just chose for my dream, and then the greatest things happen because you can put all your passion and heart into it. You know.
That's true.
Um, so what kind of, let's say we spoke actually about the dieting, not dieting, following what feels good for you. But what advice do you give to a lot of your, let's say to your customers or to the, that come to your training school, or is there a certain basic thing you do with them? Or do you say, listen, just avoid certain things? Or do you make a special, let's say more or less diet per person?
Mhm. It depends on. I ask the client first how the client eats,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
based on, and also what is the goal of the client.
All right. Okay.
And I also weigh the clients, and then I check how much kilocalories can a client eat per day to achieve their goals.
All right. Okay.
And secondly, I ask if there are things that uh, they are intolerant for.
All right. Okay. Right.
You know,
Like lactose
the body can,
or whatever. Yeah. Yeah. I understand.
yeah,
Yeah.
what the body cannot take.
Mm-hmm.
And based on that, I make a nutritional scheme for them so that they can lose the weight that needs to be lost.
Mm-hmm.
But I also want to teach them to analyze for themselves what works for them, as I told you, because I
Right,
can make
right.
a scheme for you, but it might not work for you.
Right, right, exactly, exactly. Oh, that's fantastic. That's great. Are you doing that? Are you focusing basically on adults, or do you work with kids as well, children, young kids, or?
No, my focus are my clients are between the 25 and 60 years old.
Okay. Oh, I fall all the way out of that group.
Yeah, because I prefer not to train young kids. So
Okay.
I
But what about
no
this? But what about the seniors? I mean, life doesn't stop at 65.
no, no, that is true. But most seniors do not take personal training. I see them more. They like the how to say it, they like the group training.
Hmm. Right, right.
They like group lessons.
But do
But
you do group training for seniors or not?
no, I like the on one more. I'm not no, I sometimes I do small group, but that's like 4 to 6 people,
Okay, okay,
but not a group of 12, 13, 14, 15. No, I don't
oh,
do that.
okay, okay. Well, that's good to know. Just good to know. Um, we have in the program we have our theme is today is which is called giving, and I would like to know, what does giving mean for you?
Wow. For me, I believe giving, if you give with a cheerful heart, not giving because I want something back,
Mm-hmm.
but
Hmm.
giving with a cheerful heart and seeing how happy the other person can become,
Right, right.
uh, that makes me feel good.
Okay,
Um,
and you do that. That's what you do with, of course, when you're doing your training with others, and other things that you do around your training that gives you that nice feeling.
if I may say, in a biblical manner,
Mm-hmm. Sure, sure. Of course, preach it on, my
I mean,
sister.
they say what you sow, you shall reap,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right?
Right,
And
right.
in a biblical manner, when you give cheerfully, you shall always have. You shall not lack anything. So
Great.
that is what I believe.
All right, but that's good. But that's very good. That this is the nice thing about this podcast is that there's so many different people from different backgrounds, different professions, and all, and everybody has a story to tell. So it's very good when you have something to say, and it's your own personal positivity
Mhm.
thing that means for what that means for you. That's a beautiful thing, you know.
Mhm.
I have one little tiny question along with the giving. Um, are there other things that you do other than your let's say outside of your training? Because I know that seems to be that's a big satisfaction of giving. Are you doing any other activities, let's say outside of your training? Uh, Other, let's say, activities that have to do with giving or helping others and stuff like that?
No, at the moment not, but I believe with the personal training and I also massage,
Okay, you give massages as well. Okay, yeah.
massages as well. And I notice many people they are stressed or they have problems,
Right, right.
and they want like a listening ear. They want to to that even just for me to listen to them is already freeing for them.
Mm-hmm,
And I
mm-hmm.
believe the advice that I give them or just being there for them is
Right.
also a way of giving.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
So I think that's the way I do it.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Especially now with the Corona and COVID stuff.
Yes, people can use positivity in the world right now with all the things going on. Well, listen, Lisandra, I would love to go on talking with you longer, but we only have a certain amount of time. But I really appreciate you being on the show and sharing your positive ideas about how you're bringing something to the world and to others. And I want to thank once again, thank you, Lisandra Chachon. I got it right that time.
Yeah, you got it right now.
Okay. Well, once again, thank you so much. And well, keep doing those good, positive things, and a lot of love and peace to you. And I'm sure we'll see some good things coming your way in the future.
Yeah, I pray the same for you guys.
All righty. Thank you very much.
You. Okay. Bye-bye.
My name is Eddie C., and you're listening to My Positive Podcast.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, my third and final guest is a good friend of mine. And we go way back many years ago in Holland, where we first met. He's originally from the state of New York and now living in New Mexico. His name is Mr. Al Rogers. Hi, Al. How are you doing, buddy?
Hey, Eddie, I'm doing great. Great to hear from you.
Okay, well, thank you, man. It's good to have you on my show. And I know you always have a lot of positive things to say whenever we communicate with each other. So I'm very, very, very honored to have you in the show today as well. Listen, one of the questions I would like to actually ask you, and also so our listeners know what's going on, is where did you get your inspiration to start playing music, on the piano and singing? Because you got a fantastic voice as well as being a great player. And then you've got this real nice, rigid, sort of Lou Ross Black sound in your voice, which is real nice to hear,
Well, my love for music really started with my dad, who used to let me cheat on naps, and he would have me lie down on the sofa and he would play records of classic or jazz. And through my dad, I got to know Duke Ellington later on and Billy Taylor, because my dad was the music and art editor of the magazine section of the New York Daily News. Mm-hmm. And then in my teens, what really formed a lot of my musical feeling is, as you noted, a lot of people always said, that I sounded like Lou Rawls or Joe Williams and mostly Black singers, is because where my grandmother lived was a heavily populated town of minorities and Afro-Americans. And I used to hang around with them by accident. There was a great record shop that played Motown the whole day long. And across the street from that, there was a luncheonette called C&J's Luncheonette. The owner was also an African-American. And I met a good friend, Richie, who was sort of a mentor and so forth. But, I was constantly hanging around. I ended up playing with a soul band there. There was a studio there that supposedly did sort of remote recordings for Motown occasionally. And so every once in a while I used to do an organ track. And so that's basically how I got into the R&B stuff besides jazz.
Okay.
And then, go ahead.
No, well, go right ahead. Tell me a little bit more about it.
Well, later on, I went to the Manhattan School of Music. I was a piano and voice major, and I enjoyed it. I mean, I did enjoy the music of opera and so forth, but, I left Manhattan and I just had to get back into jazz and pop music and stuff. And so I started unlearning what the opera vocal teachers taught me. And actually, when Lou Rawls came out with his hit, You'll Never Find, around 1976, which gave his career such a big boost, it was a great thing for me because my voice was right in that category. So his stuff was so easy for me to sing. So that's basically what got that going.
All right. That's how you became the blue-eyed soul brother, as you would say. All righty. Well, listen, I know at one point, like I said, we met many years ago when we were both living in the Netherlands and at one of these event gigs. And I remember seeing you play on the piano and singing. And I think I was gigging with another band somewhere else. And we got a chance to meet and talk with each other. And then eventually we spoke about doing a collaboration together for a song that I had written. But what were your experiences like, living in, going from, New York State and then moving over to a little country like Holland in the Netherlands and performing there? How were your years of experience there? And actually, how long did you stay over there? In fact,
Well, I was there for 22 years.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And for me, personally, as soon as I got out of the car after landing in Holland, I just felt at home. It was almost like I had lived here in a past lifetime. I mean, I just was extremely comfortable. Professionally,
Mm-hmm.
that was the big difference because, for instance, and you may remember some of this too, the gig scene in the United States, and especially in a lot of those clubs, people would ask for requests. And some of them were nice, but there were a lot of them that just wanted to pull out a wad of big bills and impress everybody when they were asking you to do a request.
Right,
and,
right.
And you had to be drinking a lot. My agent even, used to make sure that I was drinking. And, sometimes would even pay you to stop playing for a while,
Right, right.
And when I got to Holland, it was like people were into the music. I mean, they had respect for the musician. They would actually listen when they made a request, and it was just really neat. The only thing is, of course, the Dutch people that did not come to those clubs, they'd ask you, what do you do? Oh, I'm a musician. Well, yeah, but what do you do for work?
Right, right,
So-
right. Yeah, I've had that a couple of times as well.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the experience there, was it? I mean, what was the main reason that brought you to Holland in the first place?
Well, that was a love story.
Love
I'd fallen
story.
in
all
love
right.
with
Hey,
a
that's
Dutch woman.
that's positive.
Yeah.
Okay.
We fell in love in New York, and the relationship ended later on. But then later on, I had another very excellent relationship. So,
All right.
and
And
of
then-
course, that the career took off as well. So that helped also.
Okay. But then, so you were over there for 22 years, and what was the reason for going back? And then going to New Mexico of all places.
Well, I met and fell in love with a woman out of my past. And we have a very strong connection, which is more suitable for the Oprah Winfrey show than here, maybe. But so it was too strong. So I amazed myself by going back to the United States. And we lived for several years in upstate New York in the Adirondacks, which was sort of a musically different kind of situation because most of the entertainers played guitar and played the country genre or
Right.
Jimmy Buffett songs. But I found a new career since I was relatively unknown back in the United States and getting older. So I started teaching, and I taught special ed music for
All right.
behavioral kids, for Down syndrome kids, autistic
fantastic.
kids.
Wow.
And it was an amazing thing because these kids had so much music in them, but nobody had ever really explored it. And what I found is that music sort of stimulated their ability to learn and to memorize. And the more things that we did, the more quickly they were able to learn. The teachers were amazed because we did a couple of shows there, which they had never done before. And it was really neat.
Oh, that's fantastic. And what were the ages varied? Were they from, let's say, little kids or
They were
older
middle school and high school. Let's say from 13 up to, in some cases, 21, 22.
Okay. While you were in that process, did you ever miss going back? Did you ever miss those times in Holland, or did you ever have the idea of wanting to come back over to Europe?
I've had that idea because my wife passed away in 2017 from ALS.
Oh,
And,
okay.
I
Sorry to hear that.
really started thinking about coming back to Holland then because I have so many friends, so many great colleagues, you amongst them.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Appreciate
And,
it. buddy.
and one thing about Holland, too, is that it's a small country, but it's amazingly full with great talent. And so many great, internationally known musicians pass through Holland. I mean, when you and I used to work for Joop and Ende doing big events and so forth, how many international musicians did we run across and get to know?
That's true. There were a lot of musicians passing through that way. That's right. Holland was a sort of I always looked at Holland as a sort of a 51st state when it came to a lot of the things compared to the other European countries, because it was like, it was just like going to another state in America. There was and a lot of musicians, great musicians, born there. A lot of Dutch musicians are very good. They're still there. There's a lot of brand new young talent that's still there. And of course, unfortunately, with the COVID, we've had to be more creative. But in a way, I think that's also, if we only look at the negative side of it and not look at the positive side, which is it gives people time to reevaluate themselves, recreate themselves, and throw some positive energy out there to help others, So listen, I've got my last question I would like to actually ask you, which I ask each of the artists. Of course, our theme today is based on giving. And I would like to know, what does giving mean for you?
Well, giving me is actually a lot of times giving back. And, the one thing about music is the more I learned, picked up things from the great masters, which we all do, that's what jazz is all about, is when you see how people smile, that when they're tapping a foot, when they're listening, they give a compliment. And what I've had a couple of times, which blew me away, was when a woman started crying, and I thought, holy crap, I'm playing bad tonight. But, she said, oh, it's so beautiful, and you could maybe laugh about it, but that's a wonderful thing. And then when I was teaching, and especially those special ed kids, the Down syndrome kids that just loved everything and just were so glued to pick up everything that I had to give, that was giving, that it's just the most wonderful thing that you could experience.
I can imagine. It's just always a good feeling, especially when you can see a kid smiling because they're enjoying themselves. And music is one of the most beautiful gifts you can offer to a person, because it's like vitamins for the soul,
Yeah.
And that's really wonderful, man. Do you have one little last small thing about giving? Are you still doing those kind of things in your neighborhood? Are you still helping kids or doing special workshops and all? I know you mentioned something about doing Black History Month. You had posted some things on your page.
When my wife died from ALS, I started 3 groups on Facebook. One was an information group that's closed only for ALS patients and caregivers. And because especially 4 years when a certain person became president, a lot of those people had great ideas that they would type back and forth, but they had no voice to speak them. So I started a news group. And there's a lot of ALS patients and caregivers on there. But then I also started a music group. And this past February, for Black History Month, I posted a large amount of, just videos and history about some of the great musicians that have made the, American music what it is.
Right.
And they have given so much. And one of the things that I wrote at the end is that actually, if it wasn't for that Black history in music, I wouldn't have had a career.
Okay.
So.
And now you're giving back all the things via your music, via your organization, the ALS, and all to other people out there, young and old, huh? Because you're also working with people of different ages, right?
Right. And so, I'm not teaching anymore because I had to retire when my wife became ill because I had to take care of her. But,
right.
and I could have sat and moped and mourned the whole time and so forth. But I thought, let me do something positive with that energy and the love that I got from her.
That's beautiful. And I'm sure she's shining a lot of positive energy down on you in spiritual ways, man. That's
either
wonderful.
that or she's telling me to get off my butt and clean the house.
Well, listen, Al, I would love to talk on with you for forever, man. I mean, we go way back. We've experienced some nice things, and you're a fantastic musician and a wonderful person as well. And I want to thank you so much for coming on the show and spreading a lot of positive energy and positive love to our public out there.
All right.
So,
hey, before you go, though, you
Yeah.
forgot to mention that we first met each other in Scheveningen on the Koerhuisplein. You were
Right.
playing in the Rose Club with Diana Berthe and with the great Wilbur Little on bass. And I was
Right.
playing in the Vliegende Hollander.
That's right. That's
with the
right.
trio. So that's where we first met.
That was our first meeting. That's right. Okay, that's right. You remember, man, your memory is better than mine.
Yeah, but it's going quick.
Yeah. All right, buddy. Well, listen, you take care of yourself and keep spreading the positivity there in New Mexico. And we'll talk to each other soon. And
All right.
a lot of love to you, brother.
Same
Take
to
care,
you,
man.
Eddie.
All right.
All right.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
This is My Positive Podcast with Eddie C.
Once again, I'd like to thank all my guests for sharing their stories. And as I said, each week we take a theme word. And this week's theme is based on giving.
Giving is being available to loved ones and those in need. Giving those special moments when your music makes a person smile or shed tears of joy. Giving an open heart and not expecting anything in return. Yes, giving back what you have received over the years of growth and development in life.
Well, that's it for this week. But once again, I just enjoyed talking to my friends from all over the world. And, you know, I'd like to thank Keith, Lisandra, and Roger for contributing on this very first and special show with many shows to come. One thing is so nice about a show like this is that you get to open up and share your heart with others. My name is Eddie C., and you've been listening to My Positive Podcast. You can find me on all platforms like Spotify, Android, Apple, and on Facebook. Look for My Positive Podcast. And on my website, you can reach me and reach out to me at mypositivepodcast.com. And who knows, maybe you'll be on one of my shows too. I'd like to thank my technical engineer and producer, Iswan, for helping to make this show possible. This is a production by Antwerp Podcast Service. I'm Eddie C., and I'll see you on the next episode.